So I've seen a few people reacting to some of this stuff, and I figured I should at least contribute some to the discourse. Yeah, so we're starting to see some of the ramifications of Israel's descent into like full on Nazi fascism, right? They're going full Third Reich. They're like trying to take over all of the territory around them, spreading themselves incredibly thin, just like, Hitler did near the end of World War II. And as a consequence of becoming you know, just very openly Nazi-esque in their ideology and what they are doing in their actions, they've taken a little bit of hit in their polling and their net favorability. Now, in general, I don't think Israel cares what countries think of them, except for how it relates to the amount of arms and support that they are getting, which is the most important aspect. Israel would not be able to wage all of these wars without billions upon billions of dollars being funneled straight out of my wallet via taxes and sent overseas to them. They wouldn't even be able to maintain their current apartheid system that they have with just Gaza and the West Bank if they weren't, like I said, funneling all of our tax dollars and sending them over there to prop up this fake country. And I say fake country because it's not a country, because it doesn't have like static borders. They're constantly trying to expand in every direction all the time. But anyway, that's all starting to lead to actual problems in terms of their polling in America. So let's go ahead and watch this video with everyone's favorite polling autist, Harry Enton, as he goes through all of the numbers in Israel's U.S. Popularity problem.
Hey there, I'm Harry Enton, and today we are running all the numbers on Israel's U.S. popularity problem. Israel is losing support here in the United States, even amongst Republicans. Take a look at this data. Take a look at this data amongst young Republicans. Look at this massive shift that we have had over just the last 4 years, the net favorability of Israel among Republicans under the age of 50. You go back to 2022, two thumbs up for Israel amongst young Republicans. But by 2025, look at this. Already a 30-point shift away, their net favorability down to -2. Today, look at this, minus 16 points. That's an over 40-point shift in just.
Yeah, so that's GOP under 50. So that's young people. I would say the young demographics move away from Israel is almost nonpartisan. Like most people, the younger you get, the more you hate Israel is what it feels like to me.
1, 2, 3, 4 years time away from.
Like I don't even know if I've ever met a person like under 30 who has a positive opinion of Israel. I can't think of a single person I've met that does, at least not since 2022. Before 2022, I am sure that if I asked many of my friends, that they would say that they maybe, I'm sure that if I asked some of my friends, at least, they would say that they have a positive vision of Israel or view of Israel. But nowadays, I would say nobody, none of my friends, not a single person I know would say that.
From Israel amongst young Republicans. But that's not the only part of the Republican base where Israel is struggling. How about amongst moderate or liberal Republicans? They make up about a third of the Republican base at this point in time. The net favorability of Israel with moderate liberal Republicans back in 2022, again, two thumbs up. You'll notice I do a lot of Siskel and Ebert references. I just really like them. At plus 26 points. Today,
cool. Good for you, Harry.
Again, negative territory, minus 9 points. That's a 35-point shift in just 4 years' time, with moderate liberal Republicans shifting away from Israel. And this, to me, gives you a good indication of why one of the more.
I do think this is moving a lot faster than Israel even expected. And I knew that once the dam broke, it would move fast, even beyond the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. I just didn't expect the dam to break necessarily this time in this conflict. When October 7th first happened, I wasn't expecting, I honestly, I wasn't expecting Israel to be as genocidal as it was. I thought that they would have had some like self-preservation instincts to like not do that. I also thought America would have restrained them in order to try to stop this right here from happening. None of that happened. And so, yeah, I don't know. This is the end result of like of the aftermath from October 7th, and also why I say that October 7th was successful. I know people like to pretend, especially liberals, they like to be like, how could you even consider October 7th even successful for the Palestinians? They're all, living in like squalor now, and so many of their people died. Well, it's like, well, that wasn't Hamas's fault. Like, Hamas couldn't have, I mean, potentially they could have, they did expect Israel to overreact. I don't know if anybody, including me, could have expected Israel to overreact as much as it did. So that wasn't really their fault necessarily, but and obviously that's victim blaming to say that it is. But yeah, it was an overwhelming success in terms of the political outcomes that they were wanting to happen. Hamas has more members than it has had at the beginning, before October 7th. And they got the political outcomes in America that they wanted, where everybody is starting to view Israel as a pariah status, and they put Palestine at the top, at the top of everybody's consciousness again. And this is what needs to happen. This is what precipitates the actual like severing of America's support for Israel. I'm not saying it's going to be anytime soon. The people in leadership are going to push back against it every step of the way. But when it's a 90-10 issue amongst the Republican base, amongst Republicans, then it'll be game over. They will have to sever, like do some sort of clean break with Israel. And as I said before, Israel won't be able to sustain even its current level of apartheid without American support. They could try to find support from other countries, but I would guess that other countries were probably further along that process than we were, and we're just scared of angering America. So I don't think that they would have much luck there either.
Ardent critics of Israel
they're a tiny country as well that is not able to make up the difference of America's support with like GDP growth or something, right? Like that's impossible. They have like 8 million or 9 million people. It would be impossible for them to sustain their selves without American support.
The Republican Party is actually at this point favored to win a competitive primary. You may know him, Thomas Massie. He, of course, is the representative from Kentucky's 4th District. He has been opposed by Donald Trump. Donald Trump has endorsed his opponent. Pro-Israel voices are also opposed. Many of them have also opposed Thomas Massie. But at this point, look at this. His chance of being the Republican nominee, winning that Republican primary in Kentucky's 4th District, is actually more likely than not to occur. Look at this. According to the Kalshi prediction.
Kalshi. We live in hell, dude. This is hell. Betting on this is what Marx like predicted. Like, was that eventually everything would be commodified, even like how many Palestinian babies are going to die today. I'm sure there's a Kalshi prediction odds for that. This is fucking hell that we have, that on CNN they put Kalshi prediction chances in the middle of their fucking segment. Ugh.
Prediction mark at this point,
Harry,
a
you're
71%
better than this.
chance. But here's the thing. Again, I'm building blocks here. It's not just on the right. It's not just amongst Republicans where Israel is losing support amongst the unexpected places. How about among younger men who were a key part of Donald John Trump's coalition back in 2024? They have very much shifted away from Israel. Look at this. Net favorability of Israel among men under the age of 50. In 2022, not too bad, but not too hot to trot either at -3 points. By 2025, again, down we go, -22 points. That is a 19-point shift in just 3 years' time. But it gets even worse.
Baby.
Look at this for Israel.
That's
-47 points. That's a 44-point shift away from Israel.
Now, but what do I always say? What do I always say, people? Those numbers could be lower. We got to keep them going down, everybody. Keep those numbers going down. I don't want -47. I want -60 the next time that we see it, okay? -60 is what I'm looking for.
On the net favorability amongst young men who, of course, shifted.
Go find a young man that you know and proselytize to them about the evils of the scourge of the Nazi state of Israel.
Massively into the Republican
Get those numbers
column
down.
back in 2024, and they have been shifting away from Israel over the last 4 years. But here's the thing. You want to talk about unexpected, perhaps no number I have seen is more unexpected than this one, because when we talk about the Democratic base, right, and we talk about them being against Israel, That's been true amongst liberal and very liberal Democrats for a decent period of time.
By the way, I mean, I assume most people who watch my channel would understand this. When they say liberal and very liberal, they include everyone to the left of like Chuck Schumer is considered liberal to them. They don't they don't really have a difference between liberal, socialist, communist, like all the various like ideologies of the left. So they just call all of it liberal. That's too much big brain shit for the average American to understand, of like the different modes of production and various ideologies of the various factions of the left. So so when they say liberal and very liberal, what they mean is like, you know, liberals, socialists, communists, Marxists, radical, you know, black liberation parties, like all that sort of stuff.
But now we're even seeing it among moderate
and that includes conservative liberals too.
Conservative Democrats, because take a look at these numbers. I mean, this is a sea change. This is a sea change. Net favorability of Israel amongst non-liberal Democrats, that is those who identify as either moderate or conservative. Back in 2022, Israel was on the plus side of the ledger. I'll give it 1 thumbs up at plus 3 points. Look at this. By 2025, minus 30 points. That's a 33-point shift in just 3 years' time. You think that's a big shift? How about now? Look at this. Among moderate conservative Democrats, the net favor of Israel down into the Sea of Galilee at minus 55 points. That's a nearly 60-point switcheroo in just...
And what did I say last time? Those numbers could be lower. Keep them going, everybody. Keep those numbers going down.
Just 4 years' time. Now, why are we seeing these shifts? Why are we seeing these shifts amongst Democrats, amongst Republicans,
why do you think?
At least certain portions of the Republican electorate, and why are we seeing it among younger men who are a big part of Trump's coalition? It is because it is part of a larger sea change against Israel. I mean, just take a look at these overall numbers right now. The net favorability of Israel among all adults. In 2022, it was plus 13 points. I'll give that 2 thumbs up. Look at by 2025, minus 8 points. That's a 21-point switch in just 3 years. And now, the net favorability of Israel amongst all adults, minus 23 points. That's a 36-point change in just 4 years' time amongst all adults.
Keep it
now,
going.
okay, that's part of the reason why that we're seeing these groups within these shifts, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. But it's more than that. How about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which of course has been taking center stage over the past few years here in America, especially after the October 7th attacks and then Israel's response to it. Take a look here. I mean, this is a change. This is a change. Who Americans sympathize more with, the Israelis or the Palestinians? Back in 2022, before the October 7th attacks, it was the Israelis by 28 points. That would even climb into the 40s, 50s, depending on which polling you looked at in terms of who Americans sympathize with, the margin very much on the side of Israel. But look at where we are now. In 2026, Americans sympathize more with the Palestinians by an 11-point margin. That is a shift of nearly 40 points.
And I think it'll keep going. I mean, it'll definitely keep going as long as Israel is dragging America into its conflicts in the Middle East, for sure. It'll probably get worse, like much worse because of that. Even if there was peace, I don't foresee this being like going back in any way. Once people's eyes are open to, you know, the evils of like systems of oppression, it's generally hard to put that bottle, like put the genie back in the bottle, as they say, because you're like, you can't unsee what you've seen. Like, so I think that I don't really see this going back in any way in the future. Maybe like mildly, if Israel does like get some sort of like peace, like temporary peace for a couple years or something, but I don't think it'll ever go back to even being positive towards Israel at all.
In just 4 years' time, and when you compare it to 2023, after the October 7th attacks, we're talking about what, a 50, 60-point change? My goodness gracious. This is the best position that the Palestinians have ever been in the minds of the American public. The Palestinians making history in terms of who Americans sympathize more with. But it is not just the Israelis and the Palestinian conflict why we're seeing these shifts among all these different groups, and overall as well. It is because of the man who right now is the prime minister, the longtime prime minister of Israel, who's been prime minister, at least in parts, all the way back to my childhood. I mean, I think he was the prime minister.
I don't know if it's really that much. I don't know if there's that many people who care about the difference between like Netanyahu's Israel versus anybody else's Israel. It might for some liberals. They might. I think maybe some liberals would potentially change their opinion if there was a non-Netanyahu Israeli government, but only so much, like only until Israel continued to act exactly how it has been. Like no matter who is put in charge of Israel, the direction that it has been set in terms of moving towards fascism, authoritarianism, land grabs in all directions, like apartheid, slavery, like all of those things. That stuff was set in motion 80 years ago. And the direction of the country is not going to change until an external force comes in and changes it for them. So I don't know, maybe a couple liberals would temporarily change their mind if Netanyahu wasn't in charge, but I think they would swiftly be brought back to reality as soon as people understood that oh, it actually is just the state of Israel is like this, not whoever is in charge is causing these atrocities to happen.
When I was like 8 or 9, that is how long. And while I look young, I'm not that young anymore, but take a look at Bibi Netanyahu. Look at his net favorability rating here in the United States. In early 2024, he was on the plus side of the ledger at plus 9 points. But look now, minus 23 points again.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead to the last poll.
Is AIPAC, right? AIPAC, the lobbying group. Google searches for AIPAC in 2026, up like a rocket, up 306.
Okay. Yeah, so people are Google searching AIPAC. AIPAC is getting a lot trickier with how it decides to fund politicians, usually through progressive sounding like sub PACs and stuff, like Elect Chicago Women, or the Black Professionals or the Black Professionals PAC for Chicago, or what, like they put all of their money into like sub PACs that have progressive sounding names, and they obviously never mention the state of Israel in any of their ads. So they're trying to make it harder to find where they're sending their money. I'm sure that there will be lobbying and potentially court cases brought about of like to overturn like transparency rules and stuff as this becomes more difficult for them to get their way in terms of who they want elected. But so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, okay, cool. Seems like the world's waking up. I mean, I've been on Fuck Israel o'clock for a while now. I'm glad that everybody's finally catching up to my time. It's amazing. The water's great. Dive right in, everybody. If you're hesitant, I assure you, you'll feel a lot better once you remove one of the biggest contradictions from your life. Removing contradictions from your life and changing your worldview is one of the few things that can bring people to a higher state of being, in my opinion. So